Hello. Yeah, afternoon. When I was 12 years old, I saw a library burned to the ground. I was horrified when I saw Sungura, Kobe, and Simba run away for dear life, as it appeared that the forests could not be saved. Forests, the forest that they once occupied and which whispered dark secrets to them, slowly faded into silence. How could that be? As I reflected, I started getting flashbacks to a time when I last sat kwenye mkeka on a mat around a fire kando ya moto, nyota juu angani with stars above in the sky. My grandmother in her glory sat on her throne kwenye kigoda, a three-legged stool, to share a masimulizi while our imaginations took us to far, far away places. With all passengers on board, my grandmother said, "Hadithi Hadithi." We responded, "Hadithi njoo, utam kolea." She then said, "Hapo Zamani za Kale." With great anticipation, we responded, "Eh?" And just like that, the password to centuries of intergenerational knowledge, wisdom, and ancestral intelligence were unlocked. In these worlds that my grandmother's stories wove, animals such as Sungura the hare, Kobe the tortoise, and Simba the lion, who lived rent-free in the forests of my grandmother's imagination and memory, came alive in the stories that whispered dark secrets full of meanings, values, and moral lessons. These experiences heightened my sense of discernment so that from miles away, I knew exactly how to spot a scammer, thanks to the trickster, Sungura the hare. It was in these stories that my grandmother told which carried valuable life lessons. It was in her stories that I also learned to become a better friend. I was empowered with resilience and perseverance. But above all, my grandmother's stories taught me that to lead, to be responsible for others, and to be accountable to society goes beyond having the loudest roar in the room, and that being an underdog can be my superpower. Stories that my grandmother told helped me to develop vocabulary, find my identity, and find my sense of belonging in the society and the world at large. Grandma's influence over the years seemed to have weakened as I moved beyond from village life due to school and other life callings. But it wasn't long until I started to experience an exciting cultural turning point in Tanzania. In the 1990s, Mama na Mwana, mother and child radio program took listeners off by storm. For the first time ever, Tanzanian folktales were aired on radio and narrated by Deborah Mwenda in the language of Kiswahili. Now fast forward to the year 2019. I found myself with my friend Anna, sitting and reflecting on our childhood, memories, and playing outside as children. Playing outside games such as Kombolela, hide and seek, Rede, a soft version of dodgeball, and about the stories that our grandmothers told us. Now, the ultimate test of time came when Anna and I tried to recall some of these stories. We started, Hadithi Hadithi, once long ago, but we slowly started getting frustrated because despite being so fluent in these stories as children, we could barely put together a full story. In that moment, we felt like we had failed. We felt like we had failed an entire generation. And what came to the forefront of our conversation was an African proverb from Mali, which says, "When an elder dies, a library burns to the ground." It was in that moment that I remembered and I was reminded that if I don't make an effort to document these stories, I am likely to walk into a future in which they have been erased. And this is how the project Hapo Zamani za Kale was born, an initiative of which Anna and I co-founded. Hapo Zamani za Kale are Swahili words, or it's a Kiswahili phrase that translates to once long ago. It is a phrase that is used at the beginning of a storytelling session across Tanzania. Although various communities have their unique ways of starting a story, in Tanzania, Uganda, and beyond, this is by far the most common one in Tanzania. Through Hapo Zamani za Kale, we aim to preserve, to promote, and to restore Tanzanian folktales by documenting them. Through documenting these tales, we aim to open up folktales to new audiences, find new meanings and explore new interpretations, but also continue the art and the tradition of oral storytelling. To date, we have collaborated with village elders, youth, and visual artists across Tanzania, documenting more than 100 tales across 17 villages, of which 23 have been published in a storybook, also by the same name, Hapo Zamani za Kale. I believe that these stories can offer an alternative approach to telling the African story. And I want to illustrate an example of how this has been done by a Tanzanian visual artist, Jennifer Msekwa. The image in front of you is from a folk tale called Vibua Nakasa. In its simplest form, Vibua Nakasa simply translates to fish and a turtle. Jennifer Msekwa took on this tale and adapted it from oral storytelling tradition to visual art. And her interpretation of this, first you see three fish, which represent three generations, in other words, three intergenerational passages of folklore. But for her, this word also serves as a metaphor for preserving art and culture. In addition to that, the folk tale for Jennifer is a representation of environmental awareness, taking care of the oceans, and drawing on indigenous knowledge. John Berger, who was an art critique, a philosopher, and a painter, wrote in his collection of essays titled The Shape of a Pocket, and he argued that what any true painting touches is an absence of which without the painting we might be unaware, and that would be our loss. Absence, unaware, loss. I see these words as an invitation which invites us to look at folktales not as texts that should be frozen in time, but as living documents, as living ancestral intelligence and inheritance. Whether it is Sungura, the hare, in Tanzanian stories, Anansi, the spider, in Ghanaian stories, Ijakwen, the turtle, in Nigerian stories, or Mamklambo, the goddess of rivers, in Zulu, in South African tales. These are timeless vessels and treasures of culture, tradition, values, and I believe they can also provide solutions to some of the most pressing contemporary challenges. According to the UN, by the year 2050, 1 in 4 people globally will be African. I see this as an opportunity for Africa to be on the global stage. It's an opportunity for Africa to retell its stories, including undocumented, authentic, untold stories. Whether it is in African airlines, video games, film adaptations, theater, schools, museums, and so on and so forth. But I believe in order for us to tell these stories, we must know them. And in order for us to know these stories, we must document the undocumented stories along with the wisdom and the knowledge that is contained within them. So, as we seated here today, let us not wait until the library burns to the ground. We are the ones. You are the one. I am the one. Whether you're a writer, a researcher, a storyteller, a lecturer, a parent, or a child at heart, you too are a part of this story. As a matter of fact, you are the next chapter. And with that, I want to invite you, in the spirit of the village, to join me, and also in the age-old storytelling spirit that I've shared with you. Please repeat after me. Hadithi Hadithi. Hadithi njo. Utam. Kolea. And just like that, you too can begin to retell the stories that your grandmother once told you. Thank you.